Hey, folks, here I am, 7K stream, and I got to do it with the Scoundrels Cantina. That's what I got to do it. Luke's here with me. Luke,
Hello
hi.
there. How's it going, guys?
Oh,
It's been a
man,
while.
it's going really well. After an eventful birthday, this guy is responsible for getting me to the 7K, which I'm
Not really.
well above now.
No, the
It
thing
was
is, everyone knows you are basically the original YouTube EU guy. I think that is well known. That's what I call you.
the
So
original, yeah.
yeah, you really are the original EU guy because you were here before any of us. That's the thing.
Yeah, not many people were watching back then, but yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Congrats. Happy birthday. Yeah. What's up? Hello. Hello. Things. Yeah, I know. I know. It was quarter thing there. Hello. Hello. Wow, a lot of people in there. Congrats. Hey, Kyle. How's it going? Um, but yeah, so I just wanted to come on do a stream. I've been wanting to do more like this with Luke and other people, and hopefully I'll be able to the next week or so, since my girls are now back in daycare full time. So yeah, but I'm very happy. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, I know. 7K. I know. Still your number 9 subscriber there. It's funny because someone else started their channel. They said, "Hey, will you sub?" I said, "Yeah, I'll sub." So I subbed, and I was his number 4 or number 3 or number 2. I can't remember. I wasn't his number 1. I tried to be his number 1. I said, "Who did you tell someone else before this?" I
So
wanted to be number 1.
did you sub to 7K people, sub for sub over the
Sub for
years, or
sub. Now, you know what? No, I did that for a while. Some channels I've subbed to a long time ago have left YouTube, and which is sad because I enjoyed their content. There was one person. I'll say this: when when Disney bought Star Wars, there was a lot of channels out there talking about expanded universe back then. That aren't around now. They're done. They're gone. And I can't remember her name. If someone Dylan, if I can't remember, someone reminded me what her name was not too long ago, and I said that was her. But she was in her bedroom and she'd make videos. And I remember my favorite ones. She talked about the Young Jedi Knight series by Kevin J. Anderson. That's what got her into the EU, and she was just so excited about talking about this book and all the cool stuff and I love the energy and stuff. Well, when Disney bought out Star Wars, she went, "Oh, well, you know what? This is great because now they're going to make movies on the books." And I was like, "I don't think they are." And then when she heard that Chewbacca was going to be rumored, Chewbacca's going to be in episode 7, she went, "Well, maybe it's a flashback because he's dead now." I was like, I said, "They're going to rewrite everything." And I kept leaving comments on there. I said, "Look, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm not trying to, troll you or anything. I'm just saying that it's very doubtful that they're going to do this." I said, "Now, I love these books too, just as much as you do." I said, "But I just don't see them keeping that." That was George. George was keeping kind of everything, in line with one another. And I said, now that he's gone, they're going to just reboot the whole thing. And she didn't believe me. And when they announced it, she stopped doing videos and then eventually just canceled her channel, which I thought was sad.
Yeah, definitely. There are other EU channels, if I remember correctly, as well. Evanova, maybe. I'm not sure if he still does videos, but he was also one of the OG guys that did Star Wars lore.
Wow, yeah, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
He really did good lore videos. They were like an hour long, or versus series and stuff like that. And there are a few others I remember from back in the day. Also, Dash Star, if you remember, maybe him. He was also one of the first as well.
Oh no, see, I don't. The one another one I kept up with back in the day, and he still does videos, but nothing like he does now. But Nathan P. Butler from Star Wars Timeline Gold, he started a series, and this is how I got the idea for Matt's Expanded Universe. He started a series. Oh, look at that. He's still Evanova 95, still making videos. Okay. Oh yeah, thank you, everyone, catching up on this. But he was doing the EU in publication order. He was reviewing it, and publication order. I thought, wow, what a great series. He did one a week, and I'd watch every one. And then Disney announced that they were getting rid of the expanded universe. Well, he was in the middle of Timothy Zahn's trilogy, and he goes, well, I'm going to stop after this because there's just no point in doing this anymore. Like, he was ready to just toss it and go with the new canon. And I was like, no, don't do that. And I stayed subscribed to him for a good while. And he came out trying to do, the news. He would review the new canon stuff. Well, then he started having questions about, things weren't matching up. Things were contradicting one another. He was so confused on when this takes place in the timeline and everything. And what had happened was Lucasfilm, who used to talk to him all the time, just stopped talking to him. Stopped. Everyone just stopped and treated him like a stranger. And I think that got his feelings hurt because he kind of basically gave up on the expanded universe. He'll do like DVD reviews and stuff like that. But I'm like, oh man, I liked you better when you were doing the expanded universe stuff.
Sadly, there's been a lot of Star Wars channels that stopped making videos in the past, let's say 3 or 4 years, like quite a bit of them, and big ones as well, around 100K subs and stuff like that. And one that comes to mind is they used to be called the Cancrescents or something like that. From England or Ireland, I'm not sure, but they stopped completely. They also did pretty nice lore videos back in the day, and suddenly the views started declining heavily when they did new canon stuff, and they simply quit, sadly. And there are a few others I can't remember at the top of my head right now, but the thing is that they are technically competition for us other Star Wars YouTubers, but doesn't make me happy to see any of them go. Why would it?
No, I don't want to see any of them go.
Because it means that Star Wars is in the decline, in my opinion, at least. So I'm not really happy for anyone quitting.
But there's been a lot of new channels that have popped up since then that I've subscribed to and I've enjoyed. A whole lot. True. Yeah. Someone at Neozoic asked this for us, and Luke, I'll let you answer this. George Lucas was to sell Star Wars to you. How would you handle it?
You want to go first?
I mean, I'd tell you how I'd handle it. Obviously, I would keep the books in line. I wouldn't do anything that if I made it, I would make episodes 7, 8, and 9 probably, but I wouldn't do anything that would contradict the books. I'd keep those fans happy, but I wouldn't include too much into them. I wouldn't be like, oh, you making all these references from the books. I would make 1 or 2 references, maybe bring some characters from the books there, but not enough to where someone would be lost going, wait a minute, I don't know what's going on. No, all you have to say is Chewbacca's dead now. That's all you have to say is Chewbacca's dead now. He's no longer with us. If they want to know why or what happened, they can read New Jedi Order. You know what I'm saying? Like references like that. Maybe show Luke has a wife, Mara Jade, or had a wife, Mara Jade. What? I didn't know about this. What? It's in the books, but it's been so many years. It makes sense they would have missed stuff in their life, these characters' lives. But if you don't, you don't have to miss it because you can go back and read some of our books. It makes all your partners happy at Del Rey because they get to sell more books to more new fans asking questions. But you don't make it eccentric to a part of the storyline to where if you don't read the book, you're not going to get the movie. I wouldn't do it that way. I'd make it to where they can still enjoy it. Plus, I would make stuff that would get rid of all. I mean, obviously, they become some kind of political, liberal, propaganda machine now, and I would stop that. I wouldn't have it either other way. I'd do what George did and just walk the line.
Yeah,
just walk the line. That way, if they say, well, you have to make a stance on this political thing. No, I don't, because I make entertainment. I make movies. Yeah. And I would basically just keep it as is, and and have plenty of content. Everything would keep going. Nothing would stop. I would probably do a lot more of what Shadows of the Empire did and Force Unleashed did, like multimedia projects that come across, a book, a video game. Every video game is going to have a novel to it. I want to cover all my bases, a comic book series, just to get more people involved in it. When
you mentioned that, I haven't thought about it very detailed before of what I would be doing. But one thing was for sure, there were a lot of canceled projects that I was looking forward to. I would start off with simply finishing them. For example, Force Unleashed 3.
Yeah.
Star Wars Assault. I think that's what the game was supposed to be called. Then the Darth Maul game, for example. That one's actually very intriguing in my opinion, because from what I can tell, it's based in the Legacy era, and it's a clone of Darth Maul doing stuff with Darth Talon, and it's before the Legacy series. It sounds kind of interesting for Darth Maul.
I think I heard a little bit about this. Yeah.
It sounds interesting to me to play Darth Maul game based in the Legacy era of a clone of Darth Maul. It sounds cool to me, at least.
No, that's interesting. And we know they've cloned Jedi in the past, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah. And since I like Clone Wars, I would finish off that. And generally keep it all the same. No politics. I don't want politics from either side. Yeah. I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do what George Lucas did. And my opinion on it is kind of mixed now, because I do enjoy a few things here and there from the new canon, which I deem to be not disrespectful to both the EU and the original George Lucas Star Wars. So, I mean, I enjoy Rebels and Rogue One and Jedi Fallen Order, and I would keep it the same way, although I would slightly better integrate it with the EU stuff. Maybe mention some of those characters in some future novels and books in the EU. Yeah. That's what I
lightly tie things together so that fans of all eras can enjoy it and can enjoy the crossover on it.
But there's one thing I wouldn't do, definitely. Sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
Too many shows. I'm not enjoying the over spamming of Star Wars shows at this point, because it doesn't feel special to me anymore. You know,
right. There's a lot of more content out there, media content, TV and movies, and there ever were.
Because they make more Star Wars watch hours for 1 year than George Lucas did in 40 years.
Exactly.
That is kind of a problem, because it doesn't feel special anymore. And the worst part is most of it is mediocre at best.
Yeah, it's not even quality.
Yeah, the live action stuff, I really am not a fan of Disney's live action stuff. Rogue One is the only one I like. Everything else they did, it's even this Obi-Wan series. If you want, I can give you a spoiler or two. I saw it today, the episode 3. It doesn't only disrespect EU lore, which they're completely ignoring, which I can understand, but they're disrespecting their own new canon stuff as well. Completely. They don't care. They literally don't care.
They don't care about continuity, which is sad.
There was a rematch with Vader and Obi-Wan. That's what happened. And the thing is, if they were already doing it and contradicting A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith, at least make it look good. The thing is, it had sequel trilogy choreography. It was horrible. Although there's going to be another one. That's what they said. That's what they are saying. 2 duels.
Well, that's what they said.
I can't take it seriously. It's bad. I'm not liking it. Sorry. It's really bad.
Well, there you go. Scott made a comment about my channel, and I agree with him. The number of subs does always correspond to the quality of content. That's right. I should have like 7 subs, right, Scott?
You should have more.
I know that's not what he meant. Mandalore. You know what? I've seen a few things from him in the past. I know he still makes content. I know a lot of people like him. Yeah. Or not.
Oh, by the way, Matt, I have a Lego Expanded Universe set that came out a few days ago from Lego.
Oh yeah, which
it's literally EU based, because in the new canon officially there are no Mace Windu clones. The 187th. Take a look at what they released, what they actually released. Can you see the purple ones?
What? I mean, look at that! Wow. Look at that. That's cool.
Yep. They actually released the 187th, and it's not canon officially, which is great.
Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of those places, like Lego, like books, like toys, Hasbro, if you want to look for more content than what's going out there, look at the expanded universe. You know, there's tons of stuff there you can pull from and get great ideas for toys and, stuff like that, more merchandise to sell. I know Chris Nelson on his channel showed a Sword of the Jedi T-shirt, that was really cool. I mean, that make stuff like that. People will buy it. People will buy that kind of stuff.
Mm.
A lot of Legend canon stuff there. Which book has a bunch of clones of old Jedi going around? Was it Riptide? Was it Riptide? No, was it? Hold on. Bunch of clones of old Jedi. I don't know. They've canonized Corn Horn.
Really?
Didn't know that.
I know that Kyle Katarn is canonized from like 5 years ago, but very slightly, just his existence.
There's a bunch of Easter eggs to it. I don't know what that one was. I don't know, Jesse. I don't know if that was what comment that was on. Oh, he's the kid in Kenobi. Okay, I haven't been watching Kenobi.
Who's the kid in Kenobi? Corn Horn.
Corn Horn is? Is that who it is? I don't know. I'm not watching it, Jesse, so I have no idea. I have no idea.
You're not missing out on anything, believe me.
I heard if you hate it, you're racist, though. That's what I heard. Wait. I remember that tank from the original Battlefront game. Oh, it was in the Battlefront games.
It was in the original Battlefront, and actually in the console version of the Clone Wars game from like 2002-3, like the first ever. So yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: Why Jesse or anyone in the chat? Why was Corn Horn in a Kenobi series, and why Corn Horn? That seems kind of random. Were fans demanding?
It's probably to get the EU fans, maybe. I'm guessing.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. Who's directing? Who's in charge? Is this a Filoni thing? Is it a what's the other director?
I'm not really sure. It's Deborah Cho.
Oh, okay.
So
there was that other guy. I can't think of his name right now for some reason. The director, Jon
Favreau.
Is he involved in Kenobi?
I'm not sure.
They try. Yeah, I've heard they try to sprinkle in things like that to try to get those old school fans in, and I understand that. But I think what they misunderstand is we just want the old storyline to go on. Yeah. I personally have nothing against the new canon. I mean, if you like it, if you want to watch it, go ahead. I mean, you like some of it, you just like other parts of it, and that's fine too.
I'm cherry picking.
You cherry picking, and that's fine. That's fine. I got another good friend of mine who does the same thing. He tries to mix the canon, which I hate, but that's his deal, and I'm not gonna fault him for it, because it's your personal preference. But at the same time, there's a hard stance at Lucasfilm about making absolutely no new Legends content, and I don't know why. Because there's lots of fans. I'm saying, you're looking at fans who brought all these Star Wars books to the top, 10 New York Times bestsellers list. None of them, the Timothy Zahn trilogy made it to number one. There may have been a few other Timothy Zahn books make it to number one. Shaz the Empire, I believe, made it to number one on the New York Times bestsellers list. But the rest of them, or most of them, were in the top 10. So you had bestsellers there. You have a group. It's not as big as the video game group. Video games were ranking in way more money and attracting more people because people love video games. But why not let people like Delray open up their repertoire and throw out a Legends book every year or something, for that old storyline for people to enjoy. I just don't understand that.
They announced this new series, which takes the name of Tales of the Jedi. I'm not really a fan of them taking the name for something completely different, because it's obviously not in the Old Republic or anything related to Tales of the Jedi comics. But what's intriguing about it is it's going to be an anthology series, and it's animated. And I'm literally a sucker for animated stuff. I always love the animated stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part, at least. And they're doing anthology stories, and I've seen a leak of the trailer with young Qui-Gon and Count Dooku. They literally look the same like in the EU. Blue lightsaber, Count Dooku has a black beard and everything. Looks
Right.
interesting, to be honest. And what I like about that format, for example, is if they actually recognize the EU, they could do any random story in a 22-minute episode, animated version. Like literally take any comic and just put it into an episode would be great.
Yeah, they could do that, and I'd love to see a Qui-Gon Dooku, young Dooku stuff. I'd love to see that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think we know this. But yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what, Scott? That is a great point. It probably is an Easter egg for the Rogue Squadron movie, which will have Corran Horn in it. That's definitely something that it could be about. His mom and dad were smuggled away, so he survived Order 66 and beyond. Oh, okay. Okay.
So that was Corran Horn, but why? Isn't he from Corellia? That wasn't Corellia.
Well, I'll say this. Tells us 6. Dooku in 6. Ahsoka. Okay, so it's half and half. Man, they're pitching Ahsoka and everything, right?
Yeah. The thing is, I have nothing against the character, but I would just prefer her to be in the Clone Wars and Rebels. I don't need her in the Mandalorian or Book of Boba or Ahsoka series. I'm not into it. There's too much of her, to be honest. Too much of her. And they should simply stick with the animation for her and ignore the live action stuff. Well, Rosario Dawson isn't really.
I'd be happy. One. I mean, for me, I would just like the stuff in print, the Legend stuff in print. I'd be fine with that. They don't have to make a TV show for me. They don't have to do all that. You know, and I really wish, because a lot of people who probably know already. I talked to Lucasfilm a while back with Twin Suns Foundation. We were trying to get the rights to Legends, to do some Legends. How much would it cost? What's the price on this? Give us a price. Let's see what we can do. And it was all for a legitimate thing because at the time, the pandemic, Twin Suns couldn't get into hospitals. They couldn't get into schools. Everything was shut down. And they're a charity that focuses on those two areas. So we asked if we could do digital content for the website, Legends, you know, non-canon stuff that they wouldn't have to worry about contradicting anything of theirs. And every time we'd ask questions about other things, it was let me get back to you in a few days. And they did. They got back to us. But when we mentioned Legends, absolute no. Didn't have to check with anyone, absolute no. On that. Wasn't a mean.
I don't understand that, really.
I will say this. It wasn't a mean no, but it was an affirmative, no, we can't do that. And I was like, oh. And I remember I told Brian, I said, notice how fast they responded. And this time it wasn't a, hey, guys, let me check, or let me see who you need to contact for this information. It was like, no, I know that answer. That answer's a no. They're going to say no. And again, the response wasn't, you know, ugly from Lucasfilm, but it was a firm no. And
I actually have a theory about that. Why? What I've noticed is since they bought Star Wars, it's obviously that they're liberals or leftists or whatever. It seems that way more and more. They're not neutral as they should be. They're not focused simply on entertainment and making money and everything. There's always an agenda. And from what I've noticed, the thing is, I used to be completely apolitical before. I didn't know anything about it. And I wish it stayed that way. I hate this. And technically, Lucasfilm and their movies and their attacking of the fans led me to the conclusion that what they're doing is not good. And led me to the other side of the aisle or whatever, you know, of the political spectrum or whatever. They literally showed me how not to act and what is not good. And from what I can tell with their ideology, it seems that they are intent on ridding the world of what was before and pushing something new. Maybe that's why they hate the EU. I'm not sure.
I agree with that. There's something about, no, we don't want to be like Daddy Lucas. We don't want his stories. We don't want his ideas. We don't want his franchise. We want to tear the whole sandcastle down, build our own based off of stories from the EU. But we want you to love our stuff. Why do you still want that? You need to love our product. And it's like, well, Legends is your product too. And you guys should, it's mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling. let's get to some of these chat comments here, Matt and Luke. I want to. Well, yeah, that's that's all of us there, brother.
The thing is, if we had the chance to get them to continue the EU, I don't trust them to do it right. That's the problem now. I'm not sure if I want it still from them.
Yeah, well, I agree with Scott. I think the reason they brought Corran Horn in there, to me, is that they wanted to promote the upcoming Rogue Squadron. I agree with that completely. Didn't they make an animated series about Han, Luke, and Leia, yet they announced another show that features more Ahsoka? I don't know. Did you hear anything about that?
No, not really. Although their Tales of the Jedi thing could basically be any story with a Jedi in it, you know. So it could be young. It could be Luke training after A New Hope or something, technically. So it might be a thing. I'm not sure. It gives them options to do whatever they want, technically. Any random story.
Yeah. Jesse, I like you even more because you're Canadian. Where in Canada are you from? I got a lot of Canadian friends. So, okay. He said Bad Batch was literally apparently George, according to Filoni from Celebration. Is that true? I mean, Luke, have you heard anything about that? I never watched Bad Batch.
I didn't hear anything about it, but from what I could tell, the series really did a good job with the Dark Times era. Like, you know, the Dark Times comics, everything is in line regarding the EU war, even in that. Like, they didn't disrespect anything from what I could tell. And it was a fun show, to be honest. It's with the Bad Batch, of course, you know.
Yeah. Well, there is that comment from Lucasfilm, Jesse, which is kind of gaslighting people. But again, if you want to watch it, if you want to enjoy it, I'm totally fine with that. Jesse, I'll tell you this: I have a lot of friends that love The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. I just a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, had someone going, "Man, this is the great show. I hated the movies. I hated all the movies, but I love this show." And I was like, "Good. By the way, well, I mean, a lot of people get hate in Star Wars. I mean, you know, but not just based on their color, even though there are people like that. I want to tell you this one, though. I've been to Ontario a couple of times. I think Windsor is on Ontario. I know Toronto is. And I went up there for a wedding. And it was actually in London, Jesse, that I went to. I tell people I've been to London, but it's Ontario. And it was funny because Luke, I don't know how y'all measure things. Well, y'all measure things differently than we do. We're the odd ones in the U.S.
How so?
Well, we go by miles. We go the way we measure things by pounds and yards and feet and everything. It's metrics and everything. But man, I was so confused. I thought gas was so cheap in Canada until I realized it was by the liter, not the gallon. And then the other thing, Jesse, I'll tell you about that I love about Canada, and I don't know if it's still true today, but all the big manufacturers made ketchup flavored potato chips. And when I thought about it, I was like, ugh. But then I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, fries and ketchup. It makes sense. But they were like everywhere. I remember when I went to Canada. This is like 20 something years ago, but oh man, I had a blast. But again, if I don't here you go. Let me catch you with the comments before I make my next comment. And stories are quite good. Reading some of the Canon books. Okay, that's fine. I haven't seen a real life politics in there. Okay, good. Really? None. And what's his faces? I don't know anybody's name anymore. Chuck Wendig? Chuck Wendig didn't have anything in there.
I actually have a new one. There's a Padme novel coming out, and it has a transgender clone.
Oh boy. Well, see, here's the thing. I will say this as everyone's kind of going off on that news and everything. I will say this. Ketchup. That's wild. You know what, Jesse? I regret not getting them too. But I stuck my nose up at it when I was younger. I was like, oh man.
We have that here.
Like, you do? Yeah. That's hilarious. Well, no, I think the reason George sold Star Wars. Let me address this comment because I think that George they could hide the newspaper from George, they could hide bad reviews from George, but they can't hide the internet from George. And when the internet started coming, remember the internet was blossoming during the prequels, and it what didn't really really get out there till mid 2000s, right? When just about everyone had internet and everyone had we started getting more and more comments and chats and reviews, and they couldn't stop him, and he saw that people didn't like his stuff, and he had sour grapes. The reason George Lucas said there will never be a 7, 8, and 9 is because he was mad about how people talked about his prequel trilogy. That's the real reason. I know that. Why he swore up and down, no, I have never written a 7, 8, and 9. There will never be the story is over as far as I'm concerned. Yes, he said that a million times. I've quoted him several times. But the reason for that is probably because he had sour grapes. And when you're upset at something, you just want to, if no one likes it, fine. No one can have it then. Or he just threw his toys away. Does he regret that? 4 billion times over. He regrets it. He regrets that decision.
The thing is with that, I find it quite interesting that if he was planning the sequel trilogy, his own sequel trilogy, and now he decided to not do it because of the hate or whatever, it's interesting how the story ends without a problem, as if there are no loose ends at episode 6 when you look at it. Like that wouldn't happen with another franchise. Is it coincidence or what? Isn't it interesting? There are no loose ends at all at episode 6 then. So technically, it doesn't feel like there has to be his sequel trilogy.
No, there doesn't. It's a good ending. It wraps everything up. And when he said no 7, 8, and 9, it will never happen. He said that a million times on 60 Minutes. He said, but what if someone offered you money? He said, no. What if someone said, do you have a script? He said, no, I have nothing. And, that's just George being George. But the thing is, though, I wasn't upset by that. I was like, okay, no more movies. I as a fan, I did not get upset that there would be, knowing that there would be no Star Wars movies. Now, if George still had Star Wars, let's say, would he have made more movies by now? Maybe. It's doubtful. He would have tried to do some other projects. Indiana Jones definitely would have happened. A 5, I think, would have been out by now. He was all on board with Indiana Jones. But it's just one of those things where what would have happened if he would have taken it? There'd be a lot less Star Wars when we're talking about TV. I think Filoni would have been on something. He would have kept Clone Wars, obviously, for another 3 seasons or whatnot. But
probably 8 in the end, yeah.
But you probably would have had something like Rebels. You probably would have had something like Bad. You would have had something of these shows. There'd be a little TV show. There'd be one probably going on. So it'd be a slow drip, which is not bad. Like you were saying, Luke, it's too much at one time, and it waters down the quality.
Ooh, definitely. The thing is, if they would focus on only one show, it might work, but they have 5 live action shows in total until the end of this year. There's going to be 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, at the same time, and all of them are like 6 episodes barely, like the bare minimum, literally.
Yeah.
And nothing is special. It's the story is something you've seen in a single Clone Wars episode. They pull it for like 8 episodes. For example, The Mandalorian. They literally do a single 22-minute episode of that in the Clone Wars and focus on something bigger, better. Over here, it's a whole season of nothing. That's how it feels.
Right.
It's a waste of time.
And I hate having my time wasted.
It's a waste of time and it's a waste of money because every episode costs $20 million for what? For the Mandalorian walking.
And if you're spending that much money, you better make it worth your while. You better make sure it's written well. You better make sure it ties together well. You better make sure it's engaging. But it's like, we got money. Let's just burn it. That's the problem I have. You want to make quality content. Yeah, there's that quote. And by the way, Sentinel, if that's true, that's the 7, 8, 9 of the EU. And if that's true, then because that's true, I want to tell you that Quality Autism, episode 8 is his favorite by far. He loves Fate of the Jedi. Get him squirming there. I'm not going to be surprised if Elements from his sequels do come. I mean, will they ever release George Lucas' treatment of the script? I don't see why they wouldn't, just for fun,
Just
because a lot of
for
people like to
fun.
read it. Yeah, just for
For fun.
That's good. And they didn't even use a script. Yeah, that's
I
right.
actually heard that George, he that from his words in some interview, I think it was on Charlie Rose, he said that the company was losing a lot of money, Lucasfilm, LucasArts or whatever at the time, and that his employees were losing jobs because they weren't making any movies and stuff like that, and that it was like the logical option on how to preserve it. Although, I don't know how much you preserve stuff with selling it to Disney, because they usually bastardize everything they touch
Well,
at this
you
point.
you know whose fault this is. I'm going to put the fault square on Jim Henson, who basically his story was he knew he wasn't going to live forever. He wanted his characters to live on, and he said, "Okay, who can I give it to who won't go under, and it be lost forever?" This is back when franchises used to die. John Carter of Mars, Sherlock Holmes, some of these stories were just kind of in the leaves and whatnot, and they kind of disappear. And he said, how can I keep my legacy alive? Well, I'll sell it to Disney, because Disney's going to be around forever, I think. And it's almost like having one of those, it's like freezing your body after your death if there's a cure. And everyone thought, that is a great idea. I want my legacy to be around when I'm gone. I'm going to give it to Disney, because I know they'll always be around and they'll always make my content. And George followed suit there. Now, I will be honest, there's another reason. Bob Iger, the CEO, the former CEO of Disney, man, that dude is a silver-tongued gorilla. He sweet talked George, and to his credit, who wouldn't have done that? Luke, you're in charge of a multimedia, production company, and George is boo-hooing how he doesn't like, he wants to get rid of Star Wars. You'd be going, George, let me massage your feet while we talk. You'd be like, I want Star Wars. So
yeah,
Bob Iger did the right thing, listening to George, agreeing with him, empathizing with him, going, yeah, George, I hear you. Well, you know what? We'd gladly take it off your hands, and we'd do it. And supposedly Star Wars at the time was, this is according to Bob Iger, and I trust him. I don't think he'd lie, but he said that Star Wars at that time wasn't valued at $4 billion. It was valued at less than $4 billion. But George said he won't sell anything less than what they had just bought Marvel, and he wanted an equal deal with Marvel. And he said, but if you look at it, they weren't making movies. They had one TV show. He said a few video games. He said, so the even though obviously they made bank on it, but by what they were what's it called, estimated, their estimated price for what they were putting out was low. It was George who was keeping it low. George could have been spewing out movies every year with different directors. He had the power to do that.
The thing is, he wasn't interested in bad quality. He really wanted to do something meaningful to the story, as far as I can tell.
This is odd, though. Do you think he would have had his own streaming service, like a Star Wars streaming service?
Honestly, no. It doesn't feel like him.
Yeah.
It just isn't in his style. Like, I remember him saying that he makes these private movies, whatever that means, that he and his friends can watch, which none of us are probably ever going to see, like experimental stuff. And honestly, it's not a smart thing if you want to make money, but it didn't seem like he was interested in making money on it.
At this point, it was making his art or whatever he wanted to make, which is fine. I
really appreciate that, actually, because no one does that. He wants to make something unique for himself, and I would fully support that, honestly. Who does that? No one. It's always about the dollars.
Okay. Now, here's a question. Would you rather have Tartakovsky or Dave Filoni in charge of a TV show like that? This is interesting because I don't know if our answers will be the same or different. I mean, obviously, Genndy Tartakovsky, I think, is brilliant. I loved his 2003 Clone Wars. I was the biggest. You talk about top 5 things Matt got wrong in Star Wars. In the top 5 is that 2003 Clone Wars cartoon. I saw the artwork. I said, this is going to be garbage. I don't want to see this. And then I heard it at first it was going to be like 3 minutes, 5-minute shorts. I went, that's horrible. How can you tell a decent story in 5 minutes? I said, what garbage? I said, this is going to be total garbage. And I was so wrong. I was so wrong. It was such a good show. And I've said this before, and let me say it again. I bash Filoni a lot, but I will be fair when I say about 50%, about half of the episodes from Clone Wars I enjoyed. When he focused on the clones, and
the clones
about the clones, that was excellent stuff. I'm not an Ahsoka fan. I think Ahsoka messes up the dynamic between Obi-Wan and Anakin, who are supposed to be bonding through this war. So I didn't like any of that. I love Cad Bane. I think Cad Bane is a fantastic character.
Yeah.
But then they put him in stupid situations, like everyone knows this. I hate to keep going back to the same episode, but the one where Cad Bane, this was his grand plan. He set up a fake droid salon to entrap C-3PO and R2 on their way to get berries for Padme's birthday cake.
Oh, yeah. So he could take the schematics of the Jedi Temple.
Torture them and get the schematics of the thing. I was like, no, please. That sounds like a children's, kiddie.
Yeah. He could have done it easily.
A Teen Titans Go script is where they got that from. And there were times like that when the scripts were so stupid. And I was like, what is going? And maybe it was the same writer. I don't know. I never looked at that. Who wrote what episode? But there was some really dumb stuff. And for a show that was really quality, like children could enjoy, adults could enjoy, you can ride that line the whole way through and be fine. But they made some really dumbed down episodes.
Yeah, there were some, definitely.
If I ever watch them through again, I'll probably start marking them. Just about everything with Ahsoka is going to be marked. But I'll tell you this, when he was just on the clones, that was good stuff. That was good stuff. So he can do good stuff. But to me, Genndy Tartakovsky General Grievous was not a bumbling idiot who always got defeated a billion times before episode 3.
Yeah.
You just had Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. Grievous hasn't lost yet. He's slaughtered Jedi. He's a bad mofo. You don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, basically the only defeat he sort of had was when Mace Windu crushed his lungs.
Yeah.
That was the only thing, literally.
Yeah, that was the beginning there. I haven't been keeping up with High Republic. Have you, Luke? The High Republic stuff?
It's garbage. I'm really not interested in it. It's so bad that you can't even imagine how bad it is.
Should put Leland Chi. Yeah. Free the Chi there. Iger groomed him the same way Palpatine groomed Anakin. That's funny.
Yeah, but it seems like Kathleen did the same with George. That's the way it seems in that interview when he's selling it. She's like repeating everything George says as if it were her words, not his. Yeah,
I would say this, Darth Prime. If Genndy Tartakovsky was in charge, I think we'd see a tighter script. Better, less stories, less episodes, but better stories. I think we would have had a more streamlined, improved quality. We had more quality over quantity. You look at Genndy Tartakovsky's episodes, he didn't waste time. He didn't even want to waste minutes in the first season, making one episode 3 minutes long, another one 5. He didn't want to overstay his welcome. That's very rare today that you'd see that.
Yeah, because today you'd get the Mandalorian walking for 5 minutes straight in the episode and looking badass with the T-visor, That's my main problem with that series. Too much wasting time on him walking, landing the ship for the 5th time and stuff like that. They really waste time on that in that series a lot.
Oh, yeah. The other one I'll talk about here, Hondo Onoka. Onoka? Hondo Onoka, is that? Yeah, Hondo Onoka. I like him, but it seemed as the series kept going, they tried too hard to make you like him. It seemed like, you got to love him because he's the lovable idiot, the pirate that, is, getting outsmarted, but sometimes he outsmarts you and he's just a lovable fool or whatnot. And like I said, maybe as a guest star here and there, but as a regular character, I didn't love him as much as Bane. I thought Cad Bane was brilliant. Cad Bane really had a lot of moments to shine. And when seeing Cad Bane in it, I didn't mind. Oh, hey, so I heard I didn't know this until like a few months ago. They did a live action version of Cad Bane.
Oh, that was the thing. You know what's the problem with that? Fans did a re-edit of the scene with his face being more blue and more elongated, because in the series he looks fat. His face looks fat.
Really?
And
he's
cringy.
a thin dude.
Just I'll actually send you the link.
Okay.
And the same thing happened with the Inquisitor now in the Kenobi series, because you had him in Rebels, and he looks really good there. It's supposed to be a Padawan, from Revenge of the Sith. And now in the Kenobi series, his face is round and fat, and doesn't even look like a Padawan from Revenge of the Sith. The problem is that the aliens look like humans in costumes, literally. And they couldn't even get it. They couldn't even get it right from Revenge of the Sith.
Well, I remember a buddy of mine said, "Hey man, what do you know about Cad Bane?" I was like, "Oh, this, that." He was like, "Is there any books on him?" And so I was like, "Why are you interested in Cad Bane?" And I guess that episode had aired. It was a couple months ago. I remember when he asked me about this. I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's there." Yeah, here's. Hold on, where was it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, see, I didn't like that. I didn't like when Doofus pirates captured Count Dooku. I didn't like that at all.
The first time I saw Hondo, I thought, like, what the hell is this stupid, crappy design for a pirate? But later, he really grew on me, specifically with the Darth Maul episode and Savage, when they kill Adi Gali or whatever. I know it's a contradiction to the EU because Grievous takes her out there. But there's this line when Maul tells Hondo and his pirates, "You will pay for your insolence." And he's like, "Insolence! We are pirates. We don't even know what it means. Open fire." I found it extremely funny.
Yeah. All that silly stuff. Oh, go ahead.
He also says, "How powerful could they be? They are running away from Kenobi. Like, look at them." I find it extremely funny the way he talks. I don't know.
Yeah. And to Ben's comment, no, he didn't actually build the salon, but he built the trap, is what I'm saying. He built the trap in the droid salon. That's what I meant to say. So, Ben, I misspoke there. But he built the trap. I'm like, but how would you know that the droids were going to stop there? They just decided they were looking for berries for Padme's cake. Just the whole premise is dumb. And I like I said, I enjoyed a lot of Filoni's Clone Wars when I felt like, it focused on the right thing. But again, I wasn't a fan of Ahsoka, so that was a big thing for me. And you think about it, what's the reason Ahsoka gets assigned to Anakin is because Obi-Wan says, "Hey, we're trying to get more Jedi out there, and we have these Padawans, and the Council is assigning Padawans to Jedi Knights out there so they can train them." Okay, name of one other instance where that happened. It doesn't happen in the rest of the series. In Star Wars in general, no one gets assigned a Padawan. In fact, in the books, in the comic books, they're still choosing their Padawan. The Padawan Master Relation is a chosen one, but not Anakin's. It was forced upon him by Yoda. They shipped him one in a box. A mail order Padawan.
Didn't Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan supposedly got her as a Padawan for himself, but he kind of manipulated Anakin to be with her for the time being, and Anakin sort of just accepted it in the end. First, he was very underwhelmed, didn't want it, but after seeing potential, he just accepted it. That's the way it felt to me. I didn't know he was literally assigned. I thought he needed to accept it or not, and he kind of did. But
I don't think you could say, return to sender. I don't think you could say that. I think it just got. This is in the movie.
Yeah. In the
movie they discuss this, but in the book, which I just read recently, it was like, Obi-Wan explained it to Anakin like, "Hey, it's wartime. Jedi Masters can't do the things traditionally that they could with their Padawans. So Yoda and the Council decided to start shipping Padawans out to every night, and here's your Padawan." I was like,
that is a bad
that
explanation.
never happens anywhere else in Star Wars. So it's just oh, go
I'm
ahead.
glad it's not in the movie, honestly. It doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make what I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but they say the same thing. Master Yoda assigned me to be with you.
Yeah.
Is this how Padawans are made? Because everywhere else we've heard, it doesn't happen like that.
I heard an explanation for it was like to get Anakin to be a bit more responsible or something because he's the chosen one. I heard that as a excuse for it once.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. I mean,
I
maybe I heard
be.
because Yoda wanted to teach him patience. Yoda wants to teach him a lesson, so he gives him. I mean, meaning a good lesson on how to be an adult. I've heard that too. That too. Scott, that is friggin' hilarious. Yeah, it did. It did. It had some weird stuff. I should have made better notes when I rewatched it a long time ago.
I want to share something with you. If you're interested, I want to make an anthology EU series. If you are aware of that, the animated stuff, just like I did the Boba Fett Jawas of Doom comic. I actually have plans to make a lot of stories from it. One of them is Canderous Ordo witnessing the first Yuuzhan Vong in the galaxy, like in the Old Republic.
Oh, okay.
I want to make a short film, like a 5-minute short, where he's talking to Revan about what he saw in an asteroid field, and suddenly he sees these coral ships. This actually, it's a scout ship, actually. He sees it, and the Mandalorians start firing at it, while it escapes into hyperspace or something. I want to create that story into a short film, like I did with Boba Fett. I have the lines. I have the maps in the game mod, and I'm literally going to make that with the Mandalorian Neo Crusaders.
That's awesome.
And I have a few more. The Asharad Heth story from Legacy when he encounters Obi-Wan.
I saw you did a clip. You did a clip of that today.
I'm actually, if you want, I can show you a bit more of it right now.
Sure. Let's do it. And
a few more clips.
Pulling that up. Storm-based reviews. I don't really listen to the audiobooks that much, but Jim Daly from Harry Potter, I really like him. All right, you got it ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So I've got some scenes here. This is just like the beginning of the editing process. He came on some banthas. I literally looked at the comic book scenes, and I'm trying to recreate them literally. If you remember what it looks like in the comics. So they're having this talk or whatever. I still need a voice actor for it. So if anyone is good with an Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan, because this is supposed to be 17 years, 2 years after Revenge of the Sith, when he encounters the Shard. So I'm just going to show you guys a few scenes of that. I'm working on that. This here is supposed to be a homage to Obi-Wan versus Maul from Rebels, because they have a similar shot to it, kind of. But that's all it is. And so yeah, this is still in the editing process, not ready yet.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you a part of the duel for now.
Yeah, look at that.
The submarine.
All right, here, look what you got here. You got some comments there. Yeah.
So I followed the comic book pages literally each artwork.
Frame, That's really awesome.
Like he hits him in the face, for example, and then Obi-Wan kicks him after that in the comic specifically. It's slow motion for now, but I'm still in the editing process of it.
Right. Nice.
And then he cuts off his arm, if you remember that in the story.
Yep.
The audio is not finished yet as well. Yeah, this is still a work in progress. Doesn't look very good for now.
Wow.
And then I'm supposed to have some dialogue scenes here with him.
Yeah.
When he takes off his, mask.
Mask. Yeah.
The Tuscan scene. So yeah, those are some of the shots, and I'm making the whole thing actually. As you can see, here are some shots of him on a bantha with his lightsabers. If you remember from the comic, there's a single one of that as well. So yeah, this is one of the projects I'm working on for now, and I have a few more. One of which I'm not going to reveal anything.
Yeah,
because
and guys, this is on Scandals Cantina. So definitely want to make sure if you haven't already checked them out, check them out. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that he works on. Those are fun stuff. He already finished Jawas of Doom. If you want to go on and see that one, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, lot of good stuff there.
The difference with this one is going to be that for Jawas of Doom, which I renamed into Escaping the Sarlacc, I used voice lines from Temuera Morrison from all the Battlefront games to kind of make it work, the story. Same with Han and Leia as they appear. And it's not really going specifically from as the comic does. It's specifically from Boba's view of everything that happens. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, I added an action scene there when Boba Fett escapes the Sarlacc. Because first of all, I wanted an action scene. And if you remember at the end of the comic of Jawas of Doom, the Sandcrawler gets attacked by Tusken Raiders in the background. And to me, it made perfect sense from a story perspective if I would prolong the story, add an action scene with Boba killing some Tuskens who attacked him, and then the Tuskens are coming after him because they saw the Jawas take him, for example. And then you have more sense to the battle between the Jawas and the Tuskens at the end of the comic. So I kind of took some creative liberty there and added to the story without trying. I didn't want to disrespect it. I just wanted to add to it and make Boba be the badass that he's supposed to be. So yeah, that's that. But this one, for example, here, I'm going to use the exact same lines from the comic book. Everything is going to be as accurate as can be. I just need the voice actor for Kenobi, and me and Todd are working for the voice of Ashard Heth and Darth Krayt as well. We actually have an idea. We've never seen Krayt on screen ever.
Right.
And my idea for Krayt's voice would be, if you watch Pirates of the Caribbean, you know that those sounds that the corals make, like whatever, like the coral sounds.
Yeah.
The barnacles or whatever. I'm kind of imagining when Krayt is talking, supposed to be a strong voice, maybe a British accent, but a very sharp one, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure yet on that. But when he talks, I want the let's say the barnacle sound, like the crusty sound, because he's full of the Yuuzhan Vong parasites or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's my idea of the voice for Krayt. And me and Todd are still trying to figure out what he's going to sound like. Maybe a slight metallic or robotic tone in the background, maybe. I'm not sure. I want it to be unique, not just another deep voice for a villain, I'm Darth Krayt. No, I want something unique with that. So I have that Davy Jones idea with the crusty sound he makes when he's walking and talking as if he's Davy Jones because of the Yuuzhan Vong parasite coral.
Yeah, no, it would make sense. It would affect his speech.
I want it to be unique, so we're still working on Krayt there. And it's going to be the first animation where you see a Shard ever live action.
Wow.
I mean, not live action, animated, but yeah.
Wow. Nice. Lots of fun stuff there. All right.
So and it's for the EU fans. It's for the EU fans specifically, because I know we're not getting content, so I'm trying to make something if I can. And it's very fun for me. I haven't enjoyed making Star Wars stuff in a long time as much as I have with this.
And see, that's fun stuff, though.
You should see the Order 66 scene. That one I'm extremely proud of.
I bet it's awesome.
It's actually gonna. I'm thinking of it having the voiceover of Crate talking of what happened, or Shard simply talking. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the voice of Crate for the intro. So it's basically the narrator telling Cade what happened in the Clone Wars, and you have the Order 66 music in the background, and it's probably gonna be all in slow motion when they attack him, and when he cuts off some heads and everything. So I'm really excited for that one. Hopefully people are going to enjoy it eventually.
Yeah. Oh man, can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let me answer these two questions and then I'm going to go here. But off topic, and I saw this Neozoic. I'm sorry I tried to get around to it. Thank you for reposting it, but I did see it. I was going to get around to it. He said in the Revenge of the Sith novel, which I just read, out of nowhere Dooku's xenophobic and never appears in other material. He may be, because it makes sense because Palpatine is xenophobic and that he's rubbed off on Count Dooku. Count Dooku is very prideful. Count Dooku cares a lot about himself. And so it must be that pride can trickle down into, he's human. So humans must be above every other alien. I don't think it's out of his character. Luke?
No, why not? Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't see a problem with that.
He thinks he's better than everyone anyway, so that he's better than.
And he thinks he knows what the galaxy should be.
Yeah.
At the same time, so.
Eckert's idea was for Disney to make small budget animated Legends movies, similar to how DC and Marvel. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like to see that too. But like I said, if they don't want to spend the money on making, content for television or movies for Legends, I'd be happy just to see it in print. But I'm fine with that too.
Matt, did you see the fan film with the Lusankia Superstar Destroyer from a few days ago, maybe?
Which one?
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was reading that. Sorry.
Someone made an X-Wing fan film, Battle of Coruscant, on the scale of Revenge of the Sith Battle of Coruscant.
Someone just told me about that the other day. Yeah.
And you have the Lusankia coming out under the Senate building, the Superstar Destroyer. It looks absolutely fantastic.
That's whatever I gotta check that out then. The X-Wing books probably would be the next big thing, I guess. Even though, and I think these come out after the X-Wing books, but Courtship of Princess Leia by Dave Wolverton. Don't pass that over. Dave Wolverton, unfortunately passed away recently, but that is just an excellent book. There's only one novel there. And then there's someone agreeing with me on that one there. And then right as Jaden says, hello, now I got to go. Just because Jaden entered. I'm kidding. I want to thank Luke. Thank you for taking the time. Chat. This has been fun, man. We got to do this again.
Definitely. I love it.
And everyone, again, you want to see some more of that? Hey, when is the Obi-Wan little animated film you're working on? When's that going to be available? Do you know? Do you have a estimation?
The thing is, I have a problem with finding the voice for him, and it's that is literally the whole thing is recorded, like from the beginning of the comic. Okay. All 9 pages of the comic are going to be turned into what you saw there specifically, and it's going to be about 5 or 6 minutes long, basically. And the only thing that is keeping me from finishing it is, well, first off, I'm working on some more videos. The channel is kind of suffering because I simply it's not going well for some reason. No one's watching anything anymore. It seems people are not interested in Star Wars. I don't know why. And I've been working on some more videos, and the only thing that's keeping me from finishing it is I don't have the voices yet. I need an Obi-Wan Kenobi voice, but I don't want it to sound like a fan film. And sadly, I can't get in touch with James Arnold Taylor at the time. He's quite busy, the voice of Obi-Wan. He's a great guy. He always wants to help, but he's simply too busy this time.
Right.
And I can't get an Obi-Wan voice, and it's like the most important thing there because I'm not going to use the Battlefront clips that they've made for the game. I want it to be exactly the same lines from the comic. I want to try and make it as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
A few months, hopefully.
Yeah. So if someone knows, let me know. I may know someone. I'll talk to you about it in just a minute here. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Still going to do a Q&A probably at night. I don't know. Probably in the day. I don't know. I'm going to get one done. And More Civilized Age is coming. It's coming. I don't know when, but it's going to come this week, hopefully later on. Chris has been too busy to text me back. But anyway, Luke, thanks for being on the channel.